I've been thinking a lot about how years start. Every new year comes with the pressure to make declarations, like you're supposed to know exactly who you're going to be or where you're headed. For me, 2025 didn't start with a plan like that. It just started with me and two of my buddies sitting around drinking and just talking about how rough 2024 was. And honestly, 2025 didn't really feel much better either. And I mean that for like a lot of people. There's just been a lot of frustration last year. And when I say frustration, I just don't really mean a mild annoyance. It just seems like everything is just bad. It just sucks. And for me, there's just anger there. And I don't want to get too into the weeds about that since it is reflective, but you know, you gotta kind of talk about this stuff every now and then. The reason for that is that I've always had a strong sense of justice, and that's probably because like how I was raised, from being bullied from when I was younger and then growing up loving superheroes. I've always liked stories about standing up for people who couldn't stand up for themselves, and you know, about calling out bullies and doing the right thing even when I wasn't either. But growing up, you kind of realize the world isn't clean as those stories make it out to be, and bad guys aren't always as obvious. There's a couple songs that like really captures how I feel, like I guess in general. Reason to Believe and Screaming Bloody Murder by Sum 41. It just has that mix of disbelief and just, I don't know, wanting to fight back, really vocalizing just your frustration. I haven't really made a piece of art that really utilizes my anger much, and I'm not saying I have any real plans to do so, but those sort of feelings kind of fuel me to like keep making art, even with everything kind of stacked against you. Going into 2025, I made a pretty simple decision. I wanted to put more time into art, and I wanted to finally start YouTube. And I actually did do that. Not as much as I, wish I could have, but honestly, a solid amount for like just one guy doing everything himself. Then of course, like right at the start of February, I broke my arm, and that like changed everything. The hardest part wasn't the pain. It was just kind of like watching time pass, knowing that time could have been spent drawing, practicing, getting better, normal stuff. And I just really was not prepared for that like at all. But weirdly, it also made me like, I really appreciate the time that I do get now, like every hour at my desk. It just made me feel way more intentional with my time for like the rest of the year. I did spend like a lot of my time drawing though. And when I wasn't drawing, I was thinking about drawing. And I haven't felt like that in a long time. Falling back in love with like the process like that, I really missed it. And this was the first year I actually finished a sketchbook. And I don't think I've done that since maybe high school. Finishing that sketchbook felt huge. It's always wild to like flip through and actually see how far you've come. And I also finished Inktober. And that's honestly kind of insane for me to say out loud because like, I don't know, I tried to complete Inktober for like a decade and I failed every single time. And this year, I was just able to stick with it. Didn't have anything like really come up, and I was just able to like zone in and get it done. Not everything that I drew was great, but I did do it. There's just like a point as an artist, or even I guess as a creative, when you're doing a lot of work and then just something just switches on and you just totally get it. Like things just started coming together. I feel like my line confidence has gotten better, my decision making's gotten better, I feel like my style has gotten better, and obviously I'm still not where I want to be, but I feel like this has probably been my best year for art, and that's crazy to say because honestly I didn't think I'd ever really be this good, but here we are. I also started YouTube this year too, and yeah, everyone wants to blow up, and like anyone who says that they don't is definitely lying. But honestly, it's really like hitting the lottery. You never know what's gonna end up blowing up. I ended up getting like over 1,000 subscribers this year, and mostly because of my Ultimate Spider-Man video that just randomly took off like 6 months after I posted it. And to be honest, I still don't really understand why. I just think people really like Spider-Man. I mean, I like Spider-Man, so I guess I see the appeal. I haven't been able to replicate that success, and honestly, that's just how it goes. it did prove to me that, you know, connecting with something that I'm making, which that's all I could really ask for. Also, near the end of December, I also launched my Redbubble account. And this is actually the first time I'm even talking about it, you know, publicly. I haven't talked about it yet because I haven't made a YouTube video since December, or even like any sort of TikTok videos on it either. I'm not really expecting sales, and I've done like 0 advertising, so, you know, discoverability is like low on most platforms, so it probably won't be making sales for like a long time. It just felt like it's there. If people are interested, you know, they can check it out. So even if nothing sells, the pieces do exist. And that's just something I haven't been able to do before. I call that another victory. But also talking about like 2025 as an artist, we do have like the rise of AI, which has like been going on for like the last several years. I'm not, like most artists, I'm not a fan. I'm not, honestly, I hate it, but I think that's like one of the reasons why I like doing traditional work more now, where I've been like heading towards drawing on real paper, inking by hand, no undo button, no like infinite zoom. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of like shooting on like film photography. It's something like you really can't explain to like non-artists. It just feels different. I feel like there's like weight to it, and even then I'm probably still not communicating it correctly. It's tangible, it's in your hands, and then you know that the thing that got made here, or the thing that was created, there's only one of that. I mean, of course, like you can get prints made or something like that, but having an original piece where an artist actually drew it with their blood, sweat, tears, maybe, I mean, sometimes definitely tears, to know that it's real. And with AI and whatnot, I think it's kind of like dumped on digital for sure, but that's just me and my opinion on it, I guess. And plus, drawing traditionally, you still make mistakes, and mistakes are definitely aggravating. And to be real, like most of mine happen like during the inking stage, a shaky line here, or you accidentally touch wet ink, and then you just kind of have to deal with it or incorporate it. And that's just something that you just don't have to deal with when it comes to like digital. I don't know, it gives traditional pieces a little bit more weight, but it's also how you kind of get better. This drawing that I'm like working on right now is kind of like a checkpoint to me. This is like me at my absolute best, my best subject matter, as much time as I can possibly put into it. I want something that I can look back on next year and then like compare it. Not to like judge myself, but you know, just to see the growth. There's like a lot of uncertainty right now, and the future does not feel as bright as it did 10 or even 15 years ago. Not gonna lie, that's hard to kind of sit with. But I still really love making things. Drawing, painting miniatures, creating stories. The biggest win this year wasn't the numbers, and it definitely wasn't the algorithm. I was just falling back in love with the process and then seeing improvement with my own eyes. That was the win. And still going into 2026 and go, I still just want to sit down and make stuff every day. And as long as I'm doing that, I think I'm doing okay.